busy week. So my own standard of preparing and having a strong song selection, all that is not as I would like it. But what is coming up is that it's in tune with what we're going to be talking about, just within my own work and practice, and even just a continuation of one of the songs that we started with that was developed for this group that was inspired and came through. It was the One Love song. Right, so we did that last time. So we're going to be working on that today, a guitar version, an acoustic version. We use the harmonium, but I guess where I'm coming back around to is this theory of, or the topic of love, theme of love. So our songs and our kirtan songs will be based on that. So we have that song that we'll work on developing to get there, right? I'll offer that we'll do a sound clearing practice. Okay, so our kirtan today will be about sound clearing. I'll do an invocation and opening for my devotion. And if you're not familiar with the Sanskrit of the word at that time, okay, so you're open to receive at that time and connecting how you connect with source. Okay, how you connect with source. And I'll go through that at that time. And then we'll go through a chant to tap into that love or that devotion. So we're all arriving today from coming in at different places. Some are coming from work, from working out, being with family. And when we talk about the topic of love, we'll go into our minds, right? So we'll be in our minds. So we're going to use the chant of Radha. Radha is an energy of this divine love that's available in the universe. So we're just going to do a simple chant to Radha, and it's just going to be that, Radha. Okay, and I'll put it to a nice tune, and we'll have time and energy to go through that. So that's where maybe we can drop through the layers of the mind of what we think about love, and we can really be, we'll have access to our own heart center. So then we go into our meditation, and right where we can let whatever arises, let things settle. So then when we're right there with Kaisha, with our minds and our hearts and our beings in that way. Okay, so this is a wonderful way, right, where I don't think I'm prepared, but no, stop, breathe, use the practice, right? I've been everything I've been practicing has let me arrive with this moment, knowing that I have the tools. I have enough to support us to get through it. So that's the plan. Okay. So let's do the sound clearing first. So it's the sound of ah, and just you can picture it for those who are visual, A-A-A-H. Ah. Ah. I'll find something here. Let's see. Ah, there it is. Ah. Ah. Just keep going wherever you are. And it's work, so you really have to put some energy into it. Just keep that ah going. So what we're doing is we're just shaking things up internally. You're letting that vibration loosen what needs to be loosened. So as we drop into the feelings and the expressions of love, you'll be true. Change the pitch. You can go low or high. high. Nga, nga, nga. Feel it starting to loosen. Another minute, you got this. One more. Last one. Breathe and feel. And just notice the quality of yourself that might have shifted or changed. So for myself, there was a tightness, a closedness, and by getting into the ahs, my voice opened up, but my being, right, got a little bit wider in there, got a little bit wider from my perspective. So that's what my experience was. So just take a breath here and have your experience. So you can find this practice in Buddhist meditation, in a way to clear and center yourself before meditation or other work. If you can keep your eyes closed. You're more than welcome to keep them open if that's your meditation practice. And now just receive the Guru Mantra, the Guru Mantra. So again, as I mentioned, we'll be chanting to Radha, and Radha's compatriot is the Guru. So in the Hindu tradition, it's Krishna. But your Guru might be nature. It's your beloved. So I'm going to leave that open. Okay? I'll leave that open for now. Your beloved, your teacher, the great one who inspires you. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshvara, Guru Sakshat, Para Brahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshvara, Guru Sakshat, Para Brahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshvara, Guru Sakshat, Para Brahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. You are all, you are one, shine through your love. You are one, you are all, and I shine through your love. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshvara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshvara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahman, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Breathing in now. And just notice as you feel into your presence, either your heart or your belly. Just notice the sensation and just breathe and be there for a full breath cycle. And I will count you down. There's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Good. And just going to now allow your breath to return to easy, no effort required. Not that there was ever any effort to required. Good. All right. So now I'm going to invite you now to exercise those vocal cords and Radha. Radha is the name and the chant that we will exercise, we will practice with. And before we get into it, it's so funny because I was working with a dear friend who was, having a challenging time and asked for an astrological perspective of what was going on for her and her partner and how they could be supported. And we ended up speaking about what, for her chart, the energy of Radha is a tool. It's a remedy that she can use. So we were talking about her, how Radha impacts her. And like, well, how does Radha work with you? And for some reason, we were trying to, for whatever reason, trying to have a same experience because her experience was uncomfortable. So maybe, my comfortable experience was what she should have been going for. And it was just, it's been on my mind all last night and all today. It's not supposed to be that way. Her experience is her experience. My experience is my experience. She was experiencing doubts. And we were trying to, hey, this is my experience. I don't have doubts on my experience. Come join me on my experience of non-doubting. That's how your experience should be. And that's not true. That can't be true for her. It can't be true. So I'm offering that up today for, again, as we really dive into this with Kaisha, is to be true to yourself and understand, right? Sometimes our doubts are when we're not willing to be with our uncomfortableness with how we're loving, how we're being loved, or, right, our own stepping into our own self-love. Okay? So as we sing Tarada, as you sing Tarada, right? So as you sing and energize with this energy of Radha, let it resonate with you and let your experience be rooted in your truth, right? And yeah, let's see how I'm sure as we get the information and the process from Kaisha, and we tap into our own expression of Radha, we will all get exactly what we need to help us meet this moment. Okay? So Radha, it's Radha. And the way the Sanskrit comes, it's going to end up rolling off your tongue. Radha. You end up having to roll the tongue to get the R and the DH freed. So Radha. So feel free to experiment with it, because you have your, we're all in our own, we're muted, so you can be muted. And Radhe is a really happy form of Radha. So if you are familiar with some of the Hindu chants, and they're like, Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, right? That's like, oh, that, yes, I'm just feeling I'm feeling that. Okay? So we say love, but let's feel that. Right? When we say love, people go into romantic love, and it takes us different places. Kaisha will help us get clear on that. Radhe, okay? Radhe. So I'll get us started. Now I'm going to start us slow, and we might work into some more energy as we go, okay? Radhe. Radha. Sorry, guys, I'll get it going. Radha. Radha. And you're just singing along. Radha. 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 Let's call for the beloved. Radha. 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 Let it go. Radha. Radha, 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 Radha. Think of your beloved, you would say their name forever. Radha, 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 Radha. If you're a little demanding of Radha, feel free. Radha, 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 oh, Radha, Radha. Let's let it go. Radha, oh, Radha, Radha, oh, Radha, Radha, oh, Radha, Radha, oh, Radha, 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 Radha. 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 bit more in your being. It's a Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Shri Radhe. So we're going to just take 6 breaths here. Good. And as you're breathing in, fill the body with the air. And exhale out completely. Good. Just 3 more. We've already completed. Let's get a bonus. Another breath. Wonderful. So we've cleared. We've connected to divine. And now we've energized. We've energized our own presence with that invocation, your own personal invocation to Radha. So, right, no matter where we are in or on our heart journey, on this divine path, we can be right present now. And we'll use this next tune, this next presence number, right, to to center. So let's use this actually to center those feelings and that expression. And again, we might not have all the answers. Well, we never have all the answers. Let's just be really clear with that. But we can do our best to align ourselves and root ourselves so we can allow, right? We can allow life to flow through. We can allow our experiences to flow through with us. So this next tune is, the title is One Love. So I'll go through the chant that I'll offer today for you. So it's one love, one love. And the question we pose ourselves is, when will I know? When will I know? And our response is right now, right now. Okay, so we're going to take this one slow because it's a new one for the guitar. It's a new one for the guitar, so it's just being formed. Okay, and this is a Browngirlyogatribe original. So this is our jam. Okay, this is our jam. All right, so let's see. And it's kind of, this one, the guitar, it kind of got a little depth to it. So I'm going to work on getting a little beat track going for us on it. Oh, there we go. There it is. Yeah, I'll find it. Hang on. There it is. Almost. Here we go. Let's get into it. One love. Try it again. One love. It sounded really good when I was practicing it before we got going. Let's give it one more go. There, I think that looking at the camera is getting me a little off. So let me get this set up. I'm not going to face you so I can get into the groove. So, one love, when will I know? Right now. And versus kirtan style, this is bhajan style. So, sing along, jump in and sing along. Okay, as soon as you get the groove. One love, one love. When will I know? When will I know? One love, one love. When will I know? When will I know? Right now, right now. I will know love. I will know love. One love. One love. When will I know? When will I know? One love. One love. When will I know? When will I know? Right now, right now. Now I know love. Now I know love. One love, one love. When will I know? When will I know? Right now, right now. Now I know love. Now I know love. One love, one love. When will I know this love? When will I know this love? Right now, right now. Now I know love. Now I know love. One love, one love. When will I know? When will I know? Right now, right now. Now I know love here. Now I know love here. Right now, right now. Now I know this love. Now I know this love. One love, one love. Now I know this love. Now I know this love. One love, one love. You got it. One love. When will I know? When will I know? That's it. One love. When will I know? When will I know? One love. That's it. One love. When will I know? When will I know? Right now, right now. Now I know love now. Now I know love now. One love, one love. Now I know love here. Now I know love here. Right now, right now. Now I can I know now? When can I know now? Right here, right here. Now I will know this love. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Let's take a breath. Good, and right, that can be just a true reflection of the state of our hearts, a work in progress. Work in progress, okay? So as I'm working through that number, that I can feel into for myself, that time where I was searching for divine love, romantic love, just searching for love, and finally realizing, right, I needed to stop and take care of it right now, in each moment, right now. That love is radiating somewhere within me, and I love to see it reflected back. But what I put out is what gets reflected back. So that one love of finding it within myself and then allowing it to be reflected back in my community, my partner, right? All that good stuff. But I'm so looking forward to our time with Kaisha. Let's see. So with that, so again, a work in progress on that one. We'll let it be a work in progress. So I thank you all. Let's take a couple of easy breaths. We've been doing 6 breaths in between and going around. So let's do that now if you haven't already gone through 2 or 3 breaths. Good, stable. And as you're ready, inhale up the front side of the body. Let your exhale like waterfall down, cascade down the back body. And then just allow your inhale to just take you up. And then let the exhale wash down. So our intention with the kirtan is to allow that heart-mind experience to, right, be cleansed and energized. So as you're breathing in now, right, cleanse and energize your own spirit, your own being. So cleared with the ah, connected to source with the guru mantra, connected with our own divine love, our own expression through Radha. And then just cleared and prepared our field just with the opening of our one love. And thank you all for allowing yourself to vibrate and sound with me. Thank you. Thank you for that kirtan and for your openness to explore, especially that last one. So we'll get that polished up for you. All right. Great. So I will pass the mic.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dharma. I swear every time I start to hear your guitar, my eyes tear up. So I appreciate you. And we're just going to enter into just a few minutes of silent meditation. So you can come to ground yourself in your seat. Allow for your hands to fall where they may. Close your eyes and simply follow your breath. Seeing how far you can follow your inhale and seeing where you can catch your exhale. And simply just take these few minutes to follow this breath. And I will ring the song bowl in just a few minutes. And then we will hear from Kaisha. You can begin to bring yourself back into the present moment. Thank you all for sharing these moments of breathing in unison. Excuse my babies in the background. I'm so sorry about that. And Kaisha, whenever you are ready, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. I just want to thank Dharma for that beautiful rendition. It was amazing. It definitely put me into, the groove of things for myself to speak today. And thank you for sharing your gifts with us. Today, I'm just going to basically talk about Black women and love addiction. And, it goes hand in hand with self-love. Well, let me first say this. I literally just got back from Costa Rica like yesterday. So please don't mind if I look at my phone once in a while because, I just make sure, I have my notes together. So I was in Costa Rica and I saw my beautiful Joe and it was amazing. And, thank you guys for letting me share the space with you. I'm definitely going to be transparent about my story and what it has to do with love addiction. So, and I thank you for that in advance. And the reason why I want to talk about Black women and love addiction, because I think it really, really hits us in a special kind of way than other women of other cultures. And the conversation really starting to happen because as we're digging deep into self-love, we're figuring ourselves out, we are realizing the toxic relationships that we have in our lives because it does affect who you are. And we're realizing that how harmful, debilitating, and unstable and abusive relationships that we are in. And I can say that it's a very misunderstood thing when it comes with Black women, basically, because we're trained different, we're raised different. And well, let me say this too, that addiction is something that you're committed to be addicted to. It could be a person, place, or thing, or substance. And love is the power to give somebody of you and hoping that they won't use that power and hurt you back. So, and let me just start my story. So I suffered from love addiction pretty bad. I think my story began with my parents. My mother, she was addicted to crack. And, they had a dysfunctional relationship. Even though they're still married today, by the grace of God. But, the dysfunction of that relationship was the blueprint of how I view relationships. So we have to realize that our parents or our caregivers and guardians, they're the blueprint of how you love, of who you love. And since my mother was addicted to crack, I became addicted to love. So even though I try not to be like her, I became her not knowing that. So instead of crack, I'm addicted to love. And I think for me, it was just picking narcissistic men over and over, but looking for something different. But I just kept doing it over and over. And it's kind of like, I think the best way for me to put it is love addiction is like your partner is the dealer and you're the addict, right? And you're going to keep going back to your dealer for love. But what happens is that your partner realizes this, so they'll love bomb you. They'll do everything you want, and you be like, "Oh my God, this person's so amazing. This is so awesome. I can't believe this is happening for me." And once they know that they have you in a certain way, they'll stop and start breadcrumbing you. So breadcrumbing is basically just giving you little bits here and there, like a dealer. He'll start giving you little bits, but then it turns that you want more. So this is where the dysfunction comes in, because now you want more and more, but they're not giving you more and more. But you're still going to come back because you're addicted to the feeling that they gave you in the beginning. So it's like now you're just overcompensating to that person, but you undercompensating for yourself. So now you in turn don't love yourself because you're giving all this person your love, hoping that they'll go back to the love that they was giving to you in the beginning. But it's not going to happen that way. And I think a lot of Black women, we suffer from that because we come from dysfunctional homes or, dysfunctional relationships. And it can not just be romantic, it could be friendships, it could be family ships. And the dysfunction of the relationship is what continues on. And for Black women, we're told things like, "Oh, girl, just stay with your man, work through it, ride or die," and all this other stuff. Where other cultures, they don't teach them that. They say, "Oh, you don't like it? Leave, look for better." But we're taught that we have to stay because that's the most that we're going to ever get out of a relationship. We're not taught that we can just leave and get better. We're taught to stay, ride it out. You suffer first, and then you get your prize in the end. In other cultures, they don't teach them that. A woman, she would just leave, and they have that option. Well, we're not given that option, or we're not told that we have that option. So now we're just creating a whole bunch of dysfunctional relationships, and we're not sure why or how we got there, but it's kind of like what the blueprint is laid out for us. And I think now it's like we're realizing that this is not what we want, or we don't want this kind of blueprint, as far as love. But how do you work through that? How do you get better? How do you say, "I don't want a dysfunctional relationship"? Do you even know what a healthy relationship looks like? Because for me, it took me a very long time to even realize what a healthy relationship looked like, because all I saw was dysfunction. So I didn't know what it is for a man to love me properly. I didn't know what it is to have somebody who's there, for me in a sense, and not, for any other, you know, reasons. So it's a very hard thing, but I'm grateful for the women that's waking up in our community and that's actually talking about it, because a lot of these things are not talked about, and we need to bring awareness to this Black woman and love addiction problem that we're having right now. I mean, love addiction, it comes from so many different specs of our lives where, the root can be childhood trauma. Codependency is a big thing. Anything usually when it comes to addiction, codependency is a big player in it. People pleasing, low self-esteem, various things is, a part of having a love addiction. And a lot of it is this you having that self-love where you know that you deserve better. You have to know that You deserve better. And you got to want better too, because you can know that you want something and wanting to have it is two different things. So you got to know that you want better. You want better for yourself. You want better in your relationships. You got to know that at some point where you can feel like you can leave, because a part of the dysfunction of love addiction is you not wanting to leave, because you feel like if I just work a little bit harder, if I just love him a little bit more, then I'm going to get what I want in the end. And that should not be something that you want for yourself. You should want that in the beginning and have that flow out through the whole relationship, not suffer, to get to the end goal, So it's an interesting topic, and it's just, I'm like very passionate about it, but I'm trying not to like over talk and like talk for like 3 hours about it. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything else. Yeah, basically that's it. I mean, love addiction and the consequences of having a love addiction can be detrimental to your health. Me personally, it's spiraled me down into literally being like, I was an addict, literally trying to recover. And I spiraled down so bad. It was to the point that I even recognized myself. I was telling Joe that I looked at a picture of myself. I didn't even know who that was. It's kind of like one of those things. Like, I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I was doing. All I know is just me just trying to, run behind this man and trying to fix it. And it was just like a cycle. Like, I was just spiraling down into a cycle. And even though I broke up with one relationship and I got to another, this time it was different. This time I saw the signs again. This time I saw the story repeating itself, and I had the strength to actually leave that relationship. And it was so hard, but I just know that I love myself more than I love that man. And that what got me out of it. So instead of me spending another 8 years, spiraling down with somebody, I actually took me a couple of months for me to say, you know what, this is not for me. I don't want to be in these type of relationships. This is so harmful to myself, and I love myself more. And is it easy? It's not easy. It's so hard because you're so codependent on this person, and you feel like if I leave this person, I won't find anybody else. And you start telling yourself all these narratives about love and how you don't deserve it, and this is the best you can get. And like, you got to know that you deserve more. You deserve to have a healthy relationship. Even if you don't know what a healthy relationship is, you can find it. You can research. We have a whole internet, YouTube, everything that's at our fingertips to figure out these things. And it's just common. It's not even like, it's something that we need to talk about so we can make each other aware of what things like this is. Because if I never heard of it, I would have never known that this was something that I was going through. And I'm grateful to have this spot where I can talk about it and share with everybody here and bring awareness to it. And hopefully, we can divulge more into it, have bigger lectures, actually pinpoint little things like codependency, people pleasing. So it can help you understand that if you're going through it, or if you're not sure that you're going through it, that you can understand that maybe it's you, and how can you help yourself? And not even if it's just you, how can you help other women who's actually going through this? Because if we breed healthy Black women, we breed healthy Black families, because that's where it starts. So, this is a great opportunity just to bring a little awareness to it. I don't want to run the time because I know we kind of got like a little time to, finish up. And that's it. I want to thank you for letting me share the space with you guys. If y'all have any questions or y'all want to just talk about it, for a couple of minutes, if Joe allows it, that's fine with me. And thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kaisha. I would like to ask you, what was it that finally made you make that shift? Were you like, where was that point where you're like, okay, I'm repeating this cycle. It's time to break it. Where was that moment for you?
I think honestly, that moment happened for me when I was in pain, emotional pain. Like the pain was so bad that I couldn't even like get up from bed. I was starting to get depressed, and I just it was a it was a repeat of, and I remember feeling like this before with my previous relationship, and I said, no, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be in this emotional pain. It's painful, honestly, because it's like you don't know where your life is going. You're in so much pain emotionally, and then it turns into a physical manifestation of it. And you gotta, and I was just fed up. I just couldn't take it no more. And then it was like, and we spoke about this, Joe, like as soon as I broke up with him, I got physically ill. And I was ill for about 2 weeks. And I went to the doctor. I thought I had COVID. I was like, oh my God, I got COVID. And the doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. And I was like so sick. And that's when I knew, like, after doing my own research, it was like a spiritual flu in a sense. Like I was getting all the toxicity out of my life from, that was brought from him, and not just from him, me too, because I'm not a victim in this story. I have my hand in this story too, because I will allow those things, but not knowing better at the time. And that's when you have grace and compassion for yourself, because we all here to learn lessons in this world. My soul picked my body for a reason, so I was meant to learn that lesson. And so it's like having that grace and compassion for myself to say, you know what, I went through this, but I had known better. I didn't want to keep going through it. And that's what I basically did.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And I'm so glad that you were able to get yourself out of that situation and be
Mhm.
here to share that with us. Because there
Mhm.
could be some people here that are going through that same cycle and don't really know the signs and don't really know how to get up from it. So it sounds like you had to hit like the bottom of your emotions before you were like, okay, like
Mhm.
this isn't right.
Mhm.
So wow.
Yeah. And like you said, maybe in the future, we can get like a little bit more detail with it, because there are signs, and a lot of us, we ignore the signs because, you feel like, oh no, it's just something little, I can work through it. And then it becomes more, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So, educating about the
Would you
signs.
mind would you mind sharing with us some of those signs that you
One-
saw yourself personally?
myself personally, like, I think one of the first signs of the dysfunction was trauma bonding. We
Mm.
trauma bond. Oh man, it was like trauma bonding is like one of the number one things with narcissists. Let me say that, because I'm narcissist. I'm on expert level at this point, and like trauma bonding. For instance, he grew up in the hood and he had a parent that was on drugs. I grew up in the hood and I had a parent on drugs, and we bonded, and we just, that was like, oh man, that was our baseline. Because I think when I think back on it, if that we didn't have that together, I wouldn't be with him. There would be no, you know, what would be the common thing for me to be with him? But I said, oh my God, me too. That happened to me too. And we bonded, and we just kept bonding on bad things and just all the trauma. We just bonded our trauma together. But there was no real love. It was just a trauma that bonded us together. Once I realized that, I'm like, you got to think about it. Like, I wouldn't have nothing in common with this man. I wouldn't even probably like him. But because of the trauma that we bonded together, but both of our parents was on drugs, and we grew up in a hood, and we had certain circumstances that was similar. that's when I said, okay, something's not right now. And it just keeps going. And then the other thing I realized too, that I was not listening to my intuition. Cut my intuition off. I didn't want to hear what I had to say because I was in love and I'm gonna make this work this time and I'm gonna push forward. Your intuition is your compass in life. That's another thing I can just go on and on about because I did not listen to my intuition when my intuition was saying this situation is not right, or he's gaslighting you, or he's, like all those things. I was like, no, I just kept talking myself out of it. And my body was telling me that this was not right for me. Even having sex, I didn't feel good in a sense. Like I felt almost sick sometimes. Like, but why I feel sick? It's like, oh, maybe I ate something or whatever. But that was him poisoning my body. He was straight poisoning me. And I didn't know that because I'm still cutting off my intuition, not listening to my intuition of seeing things. Because sometimes as women, we listen to men say, oh, you're just overreacting. Oh, you just, but we're not overreacting. Who I trust more, the man or myself? And this is where self-love comes in, because you got to say, no, I trust myself more than I trust anybody. So, but you got to learn things. And these are like the little things I started seeing. Like, he started making me not trust myself. He started making me feel like I was going crazy and I was talking about. And that, he's like, kind of like, he got me, and it's like, it's just like little things like that. It adds up. Trust me. It all adds up in the end. But I think those were like the few signs that actually made me like, okay, no. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that there's some comments in the chat. Where Erica said, thanks for sharing. I've been married to a narcissist for 18 years. I'm in the process of removing myself now. Thank you, Erica, so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Erica. It's very, very hard, Erica, and I know where you at. And I can honestly say is just, you have to trust yourself. Be strong. And it's hard because it's easy to say, hey girl, be strong. No, it's very, very hard because you doubt yourself all the time. You don't trust yourself, and you have to just work yourself up to that point. Lots of spiritual healing, cleansing, because you got to think about it. We don't cleanse ourselves from all the negative things that we're inputting from our partners. So like for Erica, you've been poisoned for 18 years. It's not going to be easy. Your program, narcissists program you to be a certain way. So all this programming that you have for a long time, it's going to be so hard, to kind of like break it. But you will do it though. You will do it. I promise you that. You will do it. And Erica, and if you want to talk about it, girl, we could talk about it because I've been with narcissists for about 20 years. So we can have a lengthy talk. But I wish you the best, Erica. I love you. And please contact me if you need to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kaisha. And I do want to mention that Elsa said something very interesting. But before I get into that, Joy said, Kaisha, yes, we make up so many excuses. Intuition, please listen. It will save you from a lot of heartache. I have had several relationships that were toxic, verbal and physical abuse. But my body told me physically that I was done. I began throwing up at the sight of him. And she said, Erica, keep strong and stick with your plan. It will be hard, but totally worth it.
Definitely.
That definitely comes back to what you were saying, when you were having sex, like you felt sick. It's like your body was just like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you now the warnings are getting stronger and stronger. Someone asked the question of, from first, before I get into that, Joyce also said, who told you you are not worthy? That's something that she asked her clients. It's very interesting.
And that's a big thing too. That's a very big thing. I can honestly say, like, my mother, she was definitely the one that first told me ever in my life that I was not worthy. And I think that, and I mean, obviously, because, you know, she was addicted to drugs and stuff. And I think that she was the one that made me feel like, girl, just get who you can. And just, you know, it is what it is. And made me feel like I was not worthy enough to fight for love or to even have the kind of man that I want. Even like recently, you know, I was telling you, Joe, like a couple of years ago, like I had to tell her, like, don't ever make me feel like a man is more worthy of me. That's the issue right now. And we had that as adults, you know, because you got to think about it. Sometimes parents treat you as their child. You could be 40 years old and they'll still teach you, you know, as a child. And I think having that conversation with my mother, I think she realized what she'd been doing to me all these years. So, and it's like, you gotta reparent yourself now, because I can't keep saying, oh, it's my mother's fault, because no, it's not her fault no more. It's Kaisha's responsibility now to reparent myself, to let myself know that I'm worthy of the love that I want or I'm looking for, and to work on that within myself. Because at this point, even though, you know, I'm working through my issues, but I don't want to be traumatic to somebody else. I don't want to end up trauma bonded with somebody else. I don't even want to poison somebody to somebody else. So it's like, you got to work through these issues and know that you are worthy of love. Even though you're in a healing process, you still worthy of love. Don't make somebody make you feel like you got to be completely healed before you can find somebody. You can be in a healing process and find love too, because you're worthy of it. There's not at one point in your life that you're not worthy of love. And don't make anybody make you feel that way. And especially yourself, because yourself can be your own worst enemy. You can like look in the mirror and tell yourself, oh man, if I just had a bigger butt, or if I had this degree, I would be off, or whatever the case may be. No, right now you are worthy. You are worthy of love and everything that comes within it. And you can't make yourself feel that you're not worthy of it, even though a million people can tell you they're not. As Black women, we're viewed already as not desirable. And that's society making us feel that we're not desirable because we're, you know, we don't take no mess, or and we're loud and this and that. But that's just dumb, trying to condition us. So from that conditioning, you condition yourself too to be a kind of way. You're worthy of love. No matter where you are in life, you're worthy of love, and never not tell yourself that you're not worthy of it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sister. Elsa said something very interesting. She said, this makes me think of having a root chakra primary imbalance, lack of security, safety with a parent with addiction. And that impacts the fourth chakra, leading to a love addiction and codependency.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's very true, Elsa. And everything starts from the root. Excuse my kids. Everything starts from the root. And because that's our foundation. And our root chakra actually starts to develop when we are in the womb of our mothers. So whatever our mothers are feeling when we were when she was pregnant with us, that is our first vibration. That is our first moments of feeling those feelings. So it is very important to talk. Wow, that's beautiful, honey. That it's very important to talk with our mothers and see, okay, mom, like, how were you when you were pregnant with me? Because that's your foundation of love right there. That's your foundation of security. That's your foundation of a lot of things. Yes. So thank you so much, Elsa, for pointing that out. And those roots, you got to imagine that root chakra, those roots sprout up and go into each individual chakra. So those affect your self-esteem and your solar
Yeah.
plexus. That affects your love and your heart chakra. That affects your throat and how you communicate.
Yes.
Okay. It affects your third eye and how you are going to listen to your intuition and how strong your intuition is. Okay. So that root definitely affects everything. So thank you so much.
And I like Joe that you're saying about, your mother too, because it's so funny. So Margot, Margot's not here today, but Margot, she gave me the Akashic reading. And she told me that my mother suffered so much trauma. So when she was pregnant with me, the trauma passed right into me. And it's like I was so it was mind blowing, like, what? Like, my mother suffered so much trauma with starting with her childhood, and relationships. It passed down right into me, and now it's like kind of like my job, in a sense, to kind of like heal and cut that off and stop that trauma from affecting my later generations.
Absolutely, girlfriend. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why we are here together as this group. We're stopping those generational curses. We're putting a stop to that. And we're raising our consciousness so that our kids won't have to inherit that stuff.
Yep.
We're gonna have a bunch of free kids, y'all.
Yes.
And then if you do believe in reincarnation, when our kids have kids, that will be us. And we will have completely different lives where we're not going to have to constantly be in that fight or flight mode, where we're going to know love all the time. No, it's okay, honey. You did a lot to help. Thank you. There was something else in the chat where and I know we're running over time, so if anybody has to go, I definitely understand. But I did want to note everyone's comment. Renata asks, what is the first step to leaving?
The first step, I would say, to leaving, before you even leave, let me say this, that you have to work on knowing that you can leave, right? Because you can want something. You could say, I'm ready to go, but knowing that you can leave and that you're safe to leave. Because a lot of us feel like, oh, if I leave this relationship, oh man, what's going to happen to me? And all the doubts and all the negative self-talk is going to overpower you to the point that it's going to leave you paralyzed, and you're going to feel like you can't leave. So you have to build yourself up to leave. That's before the even first step that happens. So you have to build yourself up. You got to build yourself up. You got to talk to yourself every day. Literally, like, I talk to myself all the time, maybe because I'm a Gemini. So, we love to talk. You talk to yourself in the mirror. You say, I'll use myself. Kaisha, you're worthy. Kaisha, you can do this. Kaisha, he is not worth more than you. Kaisha, you can leave today. And just, start with little things like that. You just start talking to yourself, because talking to yourself is reassuring yourself that you can do it. So you just got to talk to yourself and make a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just like up and leave because you don't want to have a relapse, because you got to remember you're addicted to this person at this point. So you got to create a plan. And definitely, if you can, have somebody that you can talk to through this too, because if you by yourself, it's easy to talk yourself back into the relationship. But if you have that person that you could say, like for me, it was my sister. Like my sister, I was like talking to her constantly. She was motivating me. She was helping me with anything I need to do to lead the relationship. So you need that support system too. But the biggest support system is going to be you. So like I said, talk to yourself, make a plan, and then execute the plan. And don't look back. Like Sarah in the Bible, don't look back. Just keep going. Because the addiction is going to make you come back to that person. And you're going to feel like, well, he did call me and he said he was sorry, or he did bring me beautiful flowers, and that's what's gonna string you back. That those little breadcrumbs is gonna want to make you come back. So you gotta kind of like, talk your way through it. And you gotta remember too that a big part of addiction is being codependent. So you gotta kind of work through those issues too of being codependent to this person. So I hope that helps, but that was like the ground floor for me to start being able to say I'm ready to leave. And you got to be fed up. You got to hit rock bottom, like really rock bottom, to not want to turn back to. And it's hard. And I wish you the best of luck. And like I said, you need anybody to talk to, I'm totally open to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Haisha. And I also just want to piggyback off of that and offer a suggestion of seeing what, like, where is the root of this? Like, why do you keep following in that pattern? Because that is an important step to take before you start implementing those things on your consciousness. Like, I'm worthy, like I want this, I'm embodying self-love. It's important to get to the root first of why this pattern is happening.
Yeah.
So that you can go in and start to say and start to be able to finally face in the mirror, I love myself, I am worthy, because of this, because of that, none of that is important. Okay, please get out, please,
And
guys.
Mirror work is so hard. It's not easy.
Yes.
I know it seem like, oh girl, you just go in the mirror and you say, I love myself. Let me tell you, the first time I said I love myself, after everything that happened, I cried for 4 days, 5 days. I could not stop crying. Like, I just kept looking in the mirror and saying I love myself, and I cried because it was almost like if I didn't believe myself. It's very hard. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy. And I commend anybody who wants to do better in a relationships, as far as with yourself, not with anybody else, with yourself, because that's the hardest relationship you ever going to have. Because you're going to think to yourself, well, this happened to me. Like, for instance, I could say, oh man, my mother, she was a crackhead and I was so embarrassed. I was shameful. I was this and that. And you carry that bag with you your whole life because you think people can see that about you, And it's like, but you got to know that it happened already. I can't do nothing about it. All I can do is just carry those lessons with me until the new cycle that's happening. But in order for me to do that, I got to like cut that cord in me that keeps dragging all of these different type of people into my life. Like, where's the root at? Is the root because of your mother, your father, a first boyfriend, yourself? It could be anything. But you have to find out the root, because if not, you can leave the person. But what happened to me, I met the same person, just a different guy. And it was the same exact situation. And I was confused, like, but what? I'm working on myself. But you got to get to that root. And that's where the magic happens. And it's hard too. You're going to cry a lot. Doing shadow work, that's not easy. Getting to the root, that's not easy, because you carry so much with you. You carry so much shame and embarrassment and guilt. And, but if you want to cut those cords, you got to do the work. And healing is definitely not a destination. Like, I'm still in a process of healing. I still continue to do my work. And it's hard because every woman wants to be in love, regardless if you want to be in love with whoever you want to be. But you got to love yourself first, because the way you love yourself is who you're attracting. So if I love myself halfway, I'm going to meet halfway partners. And then you got to ask yourself, if you don't love yourself, because that's okay too, because people make it seem like that's not okay. That's okay if you don't love yourself. How can we work better to get to the love that you need to get to? How can I love myself today? Like, I was in Costa Rica and I was taking my little bikini pics, and I was like, oh, I don't like the way I look. I could have did this or did this. But Kaisha, you are a beautiful woman. You're not even like, there's no fat on you. Who are you comparing yourself to? Are you comparing yourself to somebody you saw? Or are you comparing yourself from yesterday? And I had to check myself, like, there's nothing wrong with me. What am I talking about? You know, because these are the little things that's going to keep sneaking up on you. So you got to kind of like I said, you got to do the work. You got to talk to yourself. Talking to yourself is like one of the best things ever. Talk to yourself. Ask yourself questions. I realized that in this journey, I never asked myself any questions about nothing. I just was just going about my life. Ask yourself a question. Why are you still with this person? What does this person do for you that makes you want to stay? Why you feel like you need this person? It starts with a whole but and ask your mother questions too. I didn't know my mother's dating history until I sat down and asked her. And my mother was in all abusive relationships up to my father. My father, he's not an abusive man whatsoever. But before that, my mother was in abusive relationships where she was in a hospital. I never even knew that about her. But now it kind of makes sense. Like, and then guess what? My grandfather, he used to beat my grandmother. So that's what her roots started from. And it just, she saw that happening to her mother, and it happened to her, and it happened to me. And this is where I stopped this. So it's like, it's so many different areas of work. And it's hard to say, okay, you focus on this one. You know, you got to kind of like work it up as it comes up in a sense. But that's what it is. And it's stopping with me. God give me the grace that before I have a child and she's a daughter, that I will never pass that on to my daughter. I want my daughter to not be on survival mode, because I lived on survival mode for a very long time. I want my daughter to thrive. I want her to know what love is without the suffering of it first. Girl, I could just go on, but I'm sorry, Joe.
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you so much. I see that Kendra wanted to mention something. But before I say that, there is a book. I think it's by Louise Hay, but it's called Mirror Work.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? I definitely recommend that to kind of get you started on that mirror work.
Mm-hmm.
And then
YouTube's, a lot of people on YouTube follow the book too. So YouTube is your best friend.
Yes.
Because everybody.
Pardon?
No, I was saying everybody's not a reader. So if you're a more visual audio person, YouTube is awesome.
Most definitely. Kendra, you wanted to mention something?
Sorry, I'm messing with the thing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to thank my sisters for their openness this morning. Thank you for sharing. It is so not an easy thing to share. I love sharing. I love you to the core for sharing. Okay. I was an abused wife twice. I've had my nose broken, my jaw broken, my collarbone, a wrist, a rib. I don't know I don't look like this. This is not what I was supposed to look like. My face has changed for them. Okay. So I definitely love you all for sharing your story. It's not easy to come out of any of these type of relationships, but you do just have to be strong enough in self to come out. And then when you think of the children and not wanting the children to take on these things and continue to go, it brings strength upon you. But it takes time. It's not automatic. And sometimes you go back and it's coming down. It's a process, and it's okay, right? It's all okay. But hold on, baby. You know, when you're in these relationships, you also don't realize that the other relationships around that relationship, everything is the same spiral, even the friendships that are formed around those relationships. So when you have to make that move, you have to move those friendships sometime too, because they're only used to you being in this traumatic thing. So they sometimes don't see you coming out of the trauma because they've enjoyed you and their talk and shared, like you were shared trauma stuff. They enjoy, they'll keep you there sometimes. And sometimes, and it hurts to leave everyone behind.
Yes.
It hurts. But sometimes you have to, because they won't recognize your change. And if they don't recognize you have stepped out of it, right? Then they'll keep pulling you back in. So you have to recognize all the cords, right?
Yeah.
It's not always just you stepping back. It might be that friend like, girl, you don't miss the, ooh, what? You used to have, you used to do.
Yes.
No, I don't. and and I constantly work on myself. So there are mirrors everywhere, right? I'm always sitting in the middle of the floor like it wasn't hard for me to do because I wasn't brought up that way. I was brought that intellect is the most important thing, you know. So like I'm super studying all the time, but now I'm like, because
Yes, Kendra.
that's what they tried to beat out of me. They tried to beat this out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now I gotta let this be extra because you tried to say. So let me show you what it can do.
Yeah.
But I love. I just wanted to say that. Oh yeah, next. Let's sing together next. I would love to sing together like we did. I know Dharma did it last time. I know she was. Listen, be quiet. See what love does? What it does, like this.
Well, you guys definitely anytime when we do the kirtan, you guys are more than open to unmute yourselves. I know I sound a mess, so that's why I don't do it. I don't want to throw y'all off. But anytime y'all want to unmute yourselves and sing along, I'm sure Dharma would love that. Absolutely. And let me check the chat really quick. Oh, Joy said my saving grace was reading Ayana Van Zant's People of Color Daily meditation book. I got strength and hope to make a plan and leave. Beautiful. I hope to get her to talk to us one day. That's
one day.
delightful.
Actually, I have like 2 meditation books that I read on a daily. And right now I'm reading The Language of Letting Go, Daily Meditations on Codependency by Melody Battle. She's amazing. If y'all can see it, I hope y'all can.
The Language of Letting Go by Melody Battle. Okay.
Awesome. Like really talk, because a lot of the root of a lot of it is codependency. And actually got her other book too. I'm like obsessed with her. The Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations. That's another good one. And I read that too on a daily basis. And if y'all want, I think somebody put in the chat, but those are like, they're like really, when I say like really, really good, like it makes you like think. I'm trying to see if I can, like for today, it says stopping victimization. So it just talks about the victimization and the abuse of our life. And actually, I can read it like real quick. I'll read it real quick. Before recovery, many of us lacked a frame of reference, which to name the victimization and abuse in our lives. We may have thought it was normal that people mistreat us. We may have believed we deserved mistreatment. We may have been attracted to people who mistreat us. We need to let go on a deep level of our need to be victimized and to be victims. We need to let go of being in a dysfunctional relationship and systems at work, in love, family relationships, and in friendships. We deserve better. We deserve much better. It is our right. When we believe in our right to happiness, we will have happiness. We will fight for that right, and the fight will emerge from our souls. Break free from oppression and victimization. Today, I will liberate myself by letting go of my need to be a victim. and I will explore my freedom and take care of myself. That liberation will not take me further away from the people I love. It will bring me closer to people and in more harmony with God's plan for my life. And that's for today's meditation.
That's
Mm.
beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I do want to say, everyone, I think that, I don't know, I think Dr. Nicole had to step out. Let me check. Yeah, I think she had to go, but she does help women with putting together a financial plan if anyone needs to leave. So that resource is also there. And know that we have a tribe full of sisters that have many different backgrounds and connections and things like that. So if you're ever having a bad day, or if you're ready to leave, or if you're ready to make a change, a shift, whatever, know that the tribe is definitely here, and this is what it's for. So yeah, I thank you so much, Kaisha, for sharing and helping us today. And I know Dharma had to leave, but that I love her kirtan moments. And thank you, Kendra, for your drops of wisdom as well. Thank everyone. Oh, thank you, Kaisha, for dropping that in the chat. And if anybody wants to join the WhatsApp group that's not in it, definitely send me your number and I can add you to the group. I thank everyone for coming today, and I will see y'all next month. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.